Hi, I'm Janine McGuire.
And I'm Ari Lawton Simon. And
Together, we are McGuire and Simon. We are a New York City-based musical theater songwriting team, and this is McGuire and Simon's Third Thursdays. This is November 2020. And in this episode, we'll be sharing a new song that we wrote with two collaborators from the University of Kansas, KU, and talk a little bit about the program through which we collaborated and worked on this song.
So we'd love to bring on Marcus Potter from KU to tell us a little bit about this project, how it was born, and how we became involved. Hi, Marcus.
Hi. Hey, Ari. Hi, Janine.
Hey.
You both have such beautiful smiles that warms my heart.
Well, thank you.
Likewise, it's important to find some things to smile about. and working on this song with you and with your program was definitely one of them.
Absolutely. Yes. It came up so quickly. Like we had talked about it and it felt like it was far in the future, and then all of a sudden it was there, and it was a whirlwind, but we had a great time.
Yeah, so several weeks ago we got an email from you asking for looking for composers to work with student lyricists in your theater program, and on a new project, and we'd love for you to just tell everyone about what that project is and how it all came together.
Yes. So we have this this course, musical theater performance for the actor at KU, and in this moment of time, rather than approaching the class in the typical way we would approach musical theater, it just felt important to create in this moment. So I approached our chair, Henry Bile, who graciously decided to support this project, which was commissioning 6 composers to work alongside our students and to dive right into the musical creating process, the songwriting process. So we were inspired by this podcast from The Daily, the New York Times, The Daily, when the amount of deaths in the country hit 100,000. And there was this beautiful podcast that just was honoring some of the names of the folks who have fallen from the virus. And it was this beautiful celebration of life. And that was our entry point, our inspiration point for this project. And a little bit about the process. Our students studied and sifted through obituaries and stories and articles of folks who have unfortunately fallen from this horrific epidemic, and highlighted several of these lives. And then the next task was figuring out which one of them may want to sing and what feels musical. And then we paired small groups with composers. And thankfully, Janine and Ari, you both said yes to this project. And you were one of 6 composers working alongside our students to create these original songs as part of this larger piece right now called the Apocalyptic Fall, 254,000 deaths and counting. And again, our goal it was not to be sad about those who have fallen, but it was to celebrate life and to move past these statistics and make these individuals real, and to find another way for the gravity and tragedy of this epidemic to really sink in and to land in a different way. So we're in mid-process, and the song you both created are with Abigail and Asher is phenomenal. So I can't wait to hear it again, to chat more about that specific collaboration, but so happy you were part of this process.
We had a great time, and we're so grateful to be invited into the process and to get to spend some time with you again, and with Asher and Abigail. So why don't we have them pop on and talk a little bit about the work?
Yes, welcome Asher Susky and Stowe, our collaborators on this project, and on this song as part of this larger project. And so yes, this was a 4-person collaboration, 2 composers, 2 lyricists, a lot of conversation, a lot of talking. But we'd love to just start with each of you, just maybe just speaking about what where you began, what the seed of this project was when you when you found the person that you wanted to write about.
Yeah, so we just sort of like when we were going through our the sort of lists of people that we had come up with whose stories stuck out to us, both of us just really landed on this one woman who was older when she passed, but she was just this very strong and independent and very, very quirky old woman. She would drive around town in this Volkswagen Bug with flames painted on the sides with her old lady friends. And that just really stood out to us as this image that we just thought was really cool. And as we dug in further to her life, and we just thought it was really interesting and thought it was something that we wanted to share.
Yeah, it reminded me of my own mother and my aunt, and just how connected I am to them. And yeah, I just loved her as a person and her character and her spirit. And, she just really made me feel connected.
That's great. And then your first step was you got a songwriting, lyric writing masterclass from Nathan Tyson, and then you two set to work on a first draft lyric, which by the way was an amazing start. It was a beautiful first draft, and and then what was that experience like for you writing a lyric, and what other songwriting experience, if any, had you come to the table with?
Yeah, I have had no songwriting experience ever, so it was brand new, and I was just kind of thrown into it. But it was so much fun, just kind of coming up with my own thing. And Asher and I started out separately in the beginning, and I was struggling so much with it. But my roommate and she was like, we should do this, and we just kind of sat down and just kind of threw things out on a little notepad, and it was just a fun time, and I would love to do it again. But yeah.
Yeah, similarly, I've had 0 songwriting experience before, and I was sort of nervous going into it, but I think just having to do it for a specific project really helped me sit down and okay, I have to put something down on this paper, nothing's going to happen. I feel I generally hold myself to a really high standard of this has to be perfect, but I feel with our masterclass with Nathan Tyson, he was really okay, just throw some things on the paper and then you can sift out what's going to work later on. And I feel that was really helpful as far as getting a first draft down.
Yeah, and I think your first draft, it definitely was a product of that. And we see that as a team all the time in our work, that it's every idea, right? And so then you go through that and you're okay, now what's the seed? What is this really about? So, we, the song, that initial draft that you brought in had been from the perspective of the woman, right? And as we explored through that storytelling and what the beat really felt like, we decided as a team to shift that perspective to be of her son, about the woman, and just the things that can come once you get something on the paper, and then just really mine and twist and turn and Frankenstein, and then all of a sudden something comes out and it's oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And we found it a really fun process. I mean, Ari and I do that together all the time. We because we both write music and lyrics together as a duo a lot of the time. We're really in the weeds with each other, kind of having those negotiations, those brainstorms, those thinking out louds. And it was just so much fun to do that, I think, in a group with all 4 of us, all in a Google Doc, which is often how we do it when it's just the 2 of us, sharing ideas and and just thinking through all that stuff together. So I don't know if you have any comments about what it was like to be part of a 4-person songwriting team, but it feels like it's pop, it's that's what they do. They get all the people in the room, and so we're writing more theatrically.
Yeah, I don't know. It was more helpful because, I don't know, sometimes I would get stuck on one certain specific thing, and just to hear everybody else's ideas and things that they were throwing out was I was able to brainstorm more ideas, and it was a fun process.
Abigail, can you mention what you mentioned to me that you learned from Janine and Ari about what they said about nothing precious, that quote that you mentioned to me?
Yes. It like something that just like really stuck out to me like throughout this whole thing was that nothing stupid and nothing sacred, and it's like we were all just throwing things out on this Google Doc, and we were able to just like get rid of half of it in like split second, like not holding on to anything. And it was just, we were really working on just that, like creating something that we wanted to say. And so we couldn't hold on to anything, and we had to be able to throw out as many ideas possible to get to that point.
I'm so happy that you said our mantra, because and like just taking away just that, is just a huge compliment, to us, and really is something that I think it impacts things, can impact things like songwriting, but really like anything where you're working together. If you can get to that point where there's trust in the collaboration and you're willing to be vulnerable, which you both showed up that way, on day one, minute one, just saying, we're just going to do our best here and just just be in that environment. And in that process, is just such an exciting thing. So we're really grateful that you absorbed that, which is something that we use with each other and have to remind each other, honestly. There are some days when where the ego creeps in a little and you just don't want to say the stupid thing. You feel like you censor yourself and you're like, I don't know, that's kind of it's not a smart thing to say. And then you say it anyway, and then it's never as as stupid as you think. And
that's when you get to like what you said, Abigail, about like somebody's stupid idea might not be the right idea, but it might spark you to think of something else, right? And so it's just having it all out there. True brainstorming.
Yeah, I feel like we had a bunch of those chains going on as we worked on this song, and then by the time the lyric then was built, then we started. We all kind of discussed as a group what kind of music like might suit it best, what kind of feel, what kind of mood, and that was also really fun to to work on together, and and then we did end up with this completed song called A Ride to Remember. And we can play it for you today. We can do a live performance if everyone would enjoy that. So we're gonna solo Ari, who will sing it and play it.
She's lying on the kitchen floor. She's recently come to. Thank you for your time, and I know it's what you do, but please be gentle, please take care. You've got precious cargo there. She always was a burning flame, independent and bold, always dressed in fire engine red, but had a heart of gold. Tough and charismatic, so much to admire. My mother was the type who set the room on fire. With painted flames upon her car, like the fire in her soul, her red-hot spirit sizzled. She could fill any role. It's her play we live in, her world to inspire. She made it turn, made it burn. She set the world on fire. She set the world on fire. Sound the sirens, flash the light, tell her everything will be alright. She always loved the spotlight her whole life through. Let's make her exit special, it's the least that we could do. So clear the highway, make no delay. Let her brilliant plays lead the way. If it's time for her inferno, need to remember. It's difficult to comprehend that this could end her story. If she has to go tonight, let it be in a blaze of glory. I thought she'd live forever, but if it's her time to retire, she'll always be that burning star who set our hearts on fire. She'll always be that burning star who set our hearts on
Yes.
Yay, beautiful performance, Ari.
Thank you.
And
So just,
and-
puberty just still happens sometimes. Sorry about
no, and Asher and Abby, what a great lyric. Just hearing that again, just a few weeks after we finished it was just really cool.
Yeah,
You both did an amazing job. I can't believe that you haven't written many songs before because there's so much great stuff in that.
Even to this day, like hearing it is just gives me goosebumps. Like the first time that Abby and I listened to it, like after we had like even talking about like how the song might sound, just the first time we heard it was just like, wow. Like
Yeah, I sobbed.
Oh.
Oh, it's really, I mean, I think it's we always talk about how like music and lyric works together, you know, and like how that'll be a thing sometimes where it's like they don't match, you know, a lot of times in workshops and stuff, and you'll say that it's like the music is telling me a different story than the lyric or vice versa or whatever, or that they don't feel like they mesh well together. And this was 4 people, you know, and I think that it ended up meshing really well. You know, it feels like something that Janine and I, you know, is tied to something that with all of our years of experience that we, you know, would be proud to put out as our own thing. And we're so glad to have done it with you. And I do hope that you continue to explore songwriting after this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, and I want to say one other thing I thought you guys also did amazingly, you know, whether that was instinctive or intuitive or not, was it just drawing such a theatrical scene. You know, it's not just a song about this woman, but then, you know, when that little intro verse is put on at the beginning, it really brings you into this moment where, you know, she's ill. I guess we didn't set up the song, but maybe the context was clear. But that, you know, that she is being, you know, taken away by the EMT, and this message is one that that the son, you know, has to express right now in this moment. You know, it's just coming out of him, and I think that you know, just what you two know about theater, you know, really came through, you know, in the writing of this. So that was a really beautiful thing to be a part of.
You know, it's not only like her ride to remember, it's a little bit of a call to action too. It's like embrace what is special about life, and let's give ourselves a ride to remember. Let's give our collective humanity and community a ride to remember. So it feels hopeful as well. It's just gorgeous.
Well, on that note, I mean, you know, we're so happy to have gotten to share this song with everyone right now, and to have had this collaboration. It was really a highlight of our fall. You know, it was something that we really looked forward to working on with you, and you know, and just, you know, a great experience for us, and we're happy to hear that it was one for you also.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Janine and Ari, thank you for kindness and your generosity with Asher and Abigail and the whole group. Your spirit and eagerness and enthusiasm and vulnerability is just incredible. I fell in love with you both at good speed, and I can't wait to have many more collaborations after this one. So you all are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank everybody here for tuning in to our McGuire and Simon Thursdays. That's November. Look back for the third Thursday in December, which will be our 6th annual McGuire and Simon Holiday Salon. And so watch the digital space for more information about that, and we'll see you then.
That's right. Stay safe.